Hello?
Isaiah Licorice, how you doing tonight? Welcome to Backyard Trash Talk.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Dude, how you feeling tonight, man?
I'm feeling amazing.
Feel amazing? I mean, you had a lot of voters come out and vote for you. How did you get all those guys to come out and vote for you?
Nothing, I basically set it up your channel on my story, and I told them to go follow you and ask if they could also give me a comment and a vote.
Yeah, dude, the people showed up and showed out. Why don't we jump right into it? Isaiah, can you tell us your favorite baseball team? And then Chris is going to get in here and ask you a question or two.
All right, well, my favorite baseball team is the Washington Nationals.
Heck yeah. What's up, Isaiah? It's Chris. We appreciate having you on. Congratulations on quote-unquote winning. I know you didn't come in first, but, sometimes it just works out this way that you get to be on it anyway. But,
Yeah.
The Nationals, they're kind of a little bit up and down season. Harper's been slumping. What do you think they need to do to kind of turn things around getting into these summer dog days of summer?
Well, for the Nationals, I think they need to get a better bullpen. You guys are either in a bullpen is like a 9-point-something right now, and like it's been killing us. And I don't know if you just watched the game. The reliever just gave up a walk-off to the Mets.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously Harper's gone now. Chris with the brain fart. Harper is slumping, but just for the Phillies. It's been a long day. What would you do if you were the Nats GM to improve this team right here, right now?
Honestly, I would trade a couple players. Honestly,
Do you have any in mind off the top of your head?
probably like Matt Eaton or probably Brian Dozier. They've been slumping lately, and they've really been doing good.
Interesting. That could turn things around. Now, I heard you're a baseball player yourself. Take us through what positions you like to play, where you see yourself, going in high school or college. You think you'll get it that far?
Well, for high school, I don't know what high school I want to go to, but for college, I have like a little options. It would either be like either Maryland, Arkansas, or probably like Coastal Carolina.
All right. Sticking it down south. I like it.
Razorbacks, Arkansas. What do you like about Arkansas?
Well, I got family up there, and like I've been watching them play in the college World Series regionals, and they've been actually really doing really good the past couple years, and so yeah.
What's your favorite position to play?
Well, I play multiple positions. I can play anywhere, but right now I'll probably say third base because like I would like it's just a fun position to play because it's obviously the hot corner, so you get lots of action over there, and you get to make those nice plays.
Wow, I'll tell you what, third base is a tough position, and you're sticking it out down there. Now, what's your favorite place in the batting order? Would you rather bat leadoff, get on base, get some runs, or would you rather bat cleanup and hit some balls out of the park?
I'd rather bat cleanup like into balls out of the park, but leadoff would be fine. Cause I get on base almost every time I get to bat, but
all right. He's a little bit humble out here tonight.
So we got Mr. Blaze, Isaiah Licorice, aka Mr. Blaze on Fortnite. Recently changed his name. We won't update the name so he doesn't get friend requests. But Mr. Blaze, you have younger siblings. You have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. Besides, let's just assume you're the best athlete in the family. Which sibling has the best chance at being the next best athlete in the family, and why?
Honestly, I'd have to say Eli.
Eli, which one's Eli?
The littlest one.
Youngest one. How old is he?
He just turned 5 Sunday.
Just turned 5. All right, you hear that? Just turned 5. Okay, why Eli?
Because he's always big and to go hit and put some extra work in.
Yeah.
And he seems And Tebow, he's been hitting, he's been hitting a ball to, the fence in Tebow, which is kind of an impress for a 5-year-old.
Wow, dude, that's big.
He sounds like a savage. All right, last question for me. Well, we've played on Fortnite occasionally. If you had to pick one place to drop, where are you dropping?
Churchill, but ain't nobody roll up on my squad.
Ain't nobody roll up on my squad like that.
Hey,
Yep.
Isaiah, we've been to battle together, and the third base is fitting for you because you like the hot corner and you like the action in Fortnite. Can you tell me your favorite Fortnite story when we have played together?
Well, I can't remember this, but I think it was season 2 where it was my first game with you, and I was just getting used to playing Fortnite, and you told me to snipe this guy that was down the hill. He was on top of the mountain, and I sniped him. I hit him while he was on the run.
How far? Do you remember how far of a distance that was?
I think that was 220 at least.
Ooh, that's some distance.
Meters.
That's some distance. Man, that's
Yes.
that's incredible. All right, I'm gonna give you a couple hot take questions, and you just tell me the first answer that comes off the top of your head. No pressure. Here we go. Who wins the NBA Finals?
Golden State.
Who wins the World Series this year?
Probably the Dodgers.
Dodgers. Who wins the Super Bowl this year?
Honestly, I would have to say probably the Patriots again.
Yeah, not a bad guess. Where do you think you're gonna play high school baseball?
Well, right now I want to go to a private school, but I would try to go to St. James.
St. James. St. James has the guard from Virginia went to St. James.
Oh, really?
The guard from Virginia.
Gotcha.
So, very very nice school out in the H town. All right, Isaiah. The floor is yours. You've answered every question we wanted to hear from you. You can say anything you want. You can ask us anything you want. This is whatever you want. What do you got?
Well, first of all, follow me on Instagram, Isaiah33. Also follow Backyard Trash Talk. And I just want to ask you guys a couple questions, probably 3. First question is, what inspired you guys to make the show?
Oh, that's deep.
That's deep. Wow.
That's deep. Chris, do you want to start out with this?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. We just enjoy talking sports, and we've always, throughout the years, a bunch of our friends have constantly had hot takes and heated debates. So we just decided one day, hey, let's just put it out there for the public.
Yeah, the inspiration for me came from when I was at a hot tub on a Friday night in the middle of winter debating that Le'Veon Bell was not worth was worth the signing for the Steelers when they did not sign him with a guy. And we decided, why don't we leave the hot tub and why don't we get some things on camera? And he was too scared to put his takes on camera, so Chris and I started the show. So that's how I'd answer that question, Isaiah.
All right, here's one more. Which one of the show is the best one at Madden?
Say that again?
Which one of the show is the best one at Madden 19?
Which one of us?
Which one of us?
Oh,
Yep.
Clearly John. John's so much. I mean, every time we played, John always had the upper hand. It just seems so. Definitely John.
Chris has had some of the best outfits, some of the fastest quarterbacks, and 2020 we actually have a private Madden league. Maybe we can have a contest to see if a fan gets into the league, but we have a lot of fun with that. We have a lot of good friends who beat both of us, so we have a good time. Isaiah, we really appreciate your time on the show. We appreciate your answers. We're gonna have the full thing on YouTube, but we'll probably clip you in an Instagram post as well. Any last words?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for the shout-outs. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the participation. You're one of our youngest fans, but most loyal fans, and we're thankful to have you.
Hey, appreciate it, Isaiah.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Have a good night.
You too.
See ya.
Hello.
Jake Richard, welcome to Backyard Trash Talk. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. Before we even get started into the sports stuff, take us through how you got so many comments and so many votes to get on the show. What did you do to get those votes?
Okay, so it costed a lot of money. Just kidding. I was at the lunch table with my friends, and I'm like, yo, you guys should follow Backyard Trash Talk on Instagram and comment my name in the comment section. And that's how it blew up.
Wow, dude, that's impressive. A lot of comments. Most of them followed. Some didn't. You and Mr. Blaze, aka Isaiah Licorice, had the most votes. You both did not end up getting first, but first could not be on the show tonight, so we thought, why not call both you and just ask you a couple minutes of questions. So we talked a lot of baseball with Isaiah, so we're going to talk a lot of football with you. Just getting started, name some of your top favorite teams to watch in the NFL.
I'd say Pittsburgh Steelers or New England Patriots.
Now, Jake, what's up? It's Chris. Now, how can you be a fan of both the Steelers and the Patriots? Can you walk me through that a little bit?
Okay, well, some people might call me a bandwagon, but I'm not. Okay, so I picked Pittsburgh Steelers because Juju's a really good guy, and the Patriots, I called like 2 years ago. I liked the team before they won the Super Bowl. Just to put a record out there, I called this Patriots winning before the season ever started. Like if you look deep in my Instagram, so there's proof I'm not a bandwagon.
I like it. Now I heard, like you said, your favorite player is Juju. What do you like about him so much? Like, what's the reason you kind of look up to him and like to watch him play?
Okay, well, it's not like he's just an NFL player. Like, he connects with the community a lot, and, like, I don't know, he's just out there. Like, he's a young guy, and he talks, like if you look at his YouTube or Instagram, it's not just NFL. Like, it's a mix of everything, and he's just, like, a really fun guy to, like, watch, and, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's really cool that, kids like you are looking up to him, because he seems like a great example, and he's doing a lot of stuff off the field, and he's not just some football player. He's helping out a lot of kids. I've seen he's gone back to USC and helped out there. So, that's awesome. That's a great person to look up to.
Hey, it's John here again. I'm gonna change the topic a little bit. Let's go away from a good example in off the field and go to a controversial example off the field. Antonio Brown just left the Steelers. It was a mess of a marriage. He left for Oakland. As a Steelers fan, how do you feel about Antonio Brown leaving the team and getting traded?
Him, Ben, and Juju were a really good power trio, but I don't know, it just seemed a little he sat out a few games, got in a fight, so I don't know, I think it's kind of good, but it's a little sad that he left.
Yeah, for sure. And then Le'Veon Bell didn't just sit out a few games, he sat out a whole season. How do you feel about Le'Veon Bell leaving the Steelers?
It's a little sad, but, we still have Juju, and he said he's going to be Steelers for life, so.
So it's Team Juju from here on out?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. New England, you said not a bandwagon fan because you called them from the beginning. Who's your favorite player on the New England Patriots and why?
Okay, well, you're going to hear what I said, but it's Tom Brady.
Ooh,
and
that's fair.
Because he's just one of the best quarterbacks out there, besides, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, no.
And real quick, some people say I look like Tom Brady.
No one
Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely,
Put the belt down.
Yeah, totally look like him.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Jake, so I heard you're a twin. How often do you guys get mixed up? Does that happen a lot?
It's to the point where you just answer by whatever. And you just go with the flow.
Have you ever just switched classes one day and just kind of gone as your brother?
Oh, yeah. You see, it's really hard to do that because, like, you have kids that start, like, start giggling and stuff, but, like, and then, like, the teacher it's fun, but it's only once in a blue moon.
Oh, yeah. Maybe 8th grade senior prank, you pull it on one.
Jake.
Yeah.
All right, let's say you can create a Fortnite squad with any professional athletes, and you get 3 to pick from. Who do you want on your Fortnite team?
All right, professional athlete, like, that's won 100% of the basketball games and stuff. Or, like, all right, so it's going to be Johnny Ice.
Oh.
Juju, of course. And, jeez. I don't know about that.
You could go Tom Brady. You could go Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I'll take Ben.
You'll take
Big
Ben.
Ben.
Big Ben. I like that. He seems like a guy who would rock a rocket launcher pretty well. Big Ben.
Yeah.
Honored by the stat. Unfortunately, my record of 100% win percentage is officially over as I joined another team with jerseys. I held a record for undefeated for my whole life until age 22 in basketball in a real game. I actually won that game with Chris Anderson.
Yes.
It's when you nominated me to play with you.
Yes, illegally.
I had 2 blocks. Don't worry about that. I had 2 blocks, a buzzer beater layup at halftime, and I think 3 air ball threes. But
Brilliant performance.
consistent across the board. Jake, before we let you go, we want to hear who do you think wins the Super Bowl this year? Can you predict it again? This will be on film for everyone to see at the end of the season.
You see, it has to be, I don't know, the Raiders might come out strong. Can I get like a top 3 or just one?
We just one here. We're all or nothing.
All right, all or nothing. I'm going to have to say Pittsburgh Steelers all the way.
Pittsburgh Steelers, no distractions. Hard to hear as Ravens fans here, but we'll see what happens. Hey Jake, we really appreciate you having you come on the show. We appreciate all the support with the likes and the fans and stuff like that. Appreciate you, man. Have a good night, and please tell your friends about this interview when it comes out on Instagram.
Oh, I definitely will.
All right.
And,
go ahead.
all right.
Oh, you good?
Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
Every successful podcast has a tablecloth.
Oh, except one. Except one. We might be doing some renovations in the near future. We appreciate it. Have a good night, Jake.
All right, have a good night.
All right, see you, man.
See ya.
Here we go.
What's up, everybody?
I knew it was coming.
Welcome to week 9 of Backyard Trash Talk. We're back. We're better than ever.
Better than ever.
John,
I'm sicker than ever, though.
John's a little sick tonight. It's all right. We're powering through. Michael Jordan flu game. Here we are, week 9. We're coming off of 2 hot interviews. Thank you, everyone, again, for participating in our contest. We had a great time doing it. We had a lot of fun doing the Instagram Live. Look for us in the next few months to do a lot of things like that in that similar nature, contest giveaways, that sort of thing.
Yeah, sad news. Matt Frierson, our winner, went to Israel. He was so blown away that he decided to take a world tour. He's out of the country. Yeah. Maybe we can have him on in the future. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But safe travels, Matt. Thank you for entering the contest. Or maybe we should thank his friends for entering him in the contest.
So we ended up, as you saw, we picked a first and second alternate. We ended up just going, what the heck, we're just going to interview them both.
Got them both on the show.
So look out on YouTube mostly. We're going to have a few Instagram clips of them. Just a little snippets of their interview. Fun little kids we got going on.
Young fans. young fans.
We appreciate them coming on. But John, we got a lot of talk. To talk about.
Hot takes. I'm ready.
A lot happened this weekend.
Let's go.
Off the top, start with NFL. The Bucs released Gerald McCoy, 6-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle, 31 years old. John, What's his deal? What's he going to do?
All right. First of all, Gerald McCoy, loved the player, loved the person. Really took off in Hard Knocks. He was already a good player, but his personality shined.
Yeah.
Known for his segment with Ed Hockley when he thrusted his hips and said, Hey, Ed, is this illegal? Would you find me for this? Look it up on Hard Knocks, YouTube, whatever. One of the greatest clips in Hard Knocks history. Definitely a top 5 clip. Anyway, it was definitely a dispute of what is he worth this money. He was going to get paid $13 million, not necessarily guaranteed, but if he hit all of his bonuses and stuff like that. And Bruce Arians alluded to in the offseason meetings that Gerald McCoy is a good player, but not what he once was. So coming into this, Bruce Arians, known for being blunt, known to being honest, kind of already said, not really worth that price. So we could kind of see the writing on the wall. Gerald McCoy had an uncharacteristic Instagram post a little while ago where he challenged people saying, I do work all the time, I do work hard, don't question me, but didn't show up to OTAs. Obviously, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
They got rid of him and then immediately swooped in and got Sue, which we'll talk about in a second. But how do you feel about Gerald McCoy getting released, and where do you think he'll go?
Yeah. I mean, when new coaches come in, it happens all the time. The veteran players leave. They're trying to clear up a little bit of cap space. You kind of see why they were a little bit, more willing to get rid of Gerald McCoy because they immediately signed Sue. I mean, almost a day later. But Gerald McCoy is still a great player, 31, maybe a little bit on the other side of his career, other side of his peak. But he can still produce. And I've seen different landing spots for him, but the place I'm going to look out for him to sign, shout out Kevin Brown, Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
He was a Cowboys fan growing up.
Wow.
I think he wants to go to a competitive team. The Bucs have been terrible for years.
Pretty much his whole career, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. And the Cowboys are up and coming. They got Amari Cooper, Dak's looking good. Zeke is obviously doing Zeke things. Look for Gerald McCoy to go back to his hometown favorite team. I can see him landing there. I think it's a great fit. They do need help on the D-line. They've lost a few guys this year on the D-line through retirement, different extracurricular activities, and I think that would be a great fit for him.
The question is always going to be salary cap space and guaranteed money that these vets want.
Yeah.
And I don't know where Gerald's standards are. Will he take less to be with a better team, or is he going to go for the money? If he can kind of work some cap a little bit, I really like the LA Chargers. They just drafted a defensive tackle from Notre Dame. They got an outside linebacker, but the middle of the field is still a little bit weak. If they can get another D tackle in there, then you have Bosa and Ingram off the edge. They're Super Bowl contending team in the future. They only got a couple more years left with Phillip playing at this high of a level. I think they should go for it. Another team I would love to see, and this is my bias, but I would love to see Baltimore potentially try to get.
Wait, so you're saying the Chargers aren't biased?
Oh, the Chargers! The Chargers are a team that would fit really well with him. But I would love to see Baltimore with $14 million in cap space, maybe get a 1-year rental, give a little pressure up the middle as Baltimore's lost 2 edge rushers this offseason. Really like that. But I also love the Cowboys pick that you have. But I'm gonna guess look for him going to a team that made the playoffs last year or was very close. I think he would rather win at this point than make money.
Yeah, no, I agree. So speaking of teams that aren't winning, like the Bucs, the Jets, the dumpster fire of the Jets. What's going on? They go through the draft, they go through the combine, they go through free agency with their GM, and then all of a sudden, weeks later after the draft, they're like, yep, we're going to fire our GM and promote our coach who was just fired from the Dolphins to GM. John, what's going on in New York?
New York, again, always kind of a mess, always something going on. A couple people asked me, what do you think about Adam Gase? Do you think he deserves to be at least the temporary GM? Does he deserve to be the head coach? Here's my answer. No, he does not deserve to coach. He does not deserve to GM from a head coaching standpoint, that is.
Yeah.
His claim to fame is he's friends with Peyton Manning, okay? Peyton Manning was his offensive coordinator, did well. Who wouldn't? I could go in there and do well with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning most likely called Miami, gave him a good shout-out. He gets the job there. finishes mediocre, gets fired, and then gets another chance. His job is to groom Sam Darnold, but when we look at Tannehill, it didn't seem like Tannehill's stats skyrocketed. This is clearly something I don't know. I think they kind of followed the theme of let's get a younger coach with the offensive mind to groom. I don't like the hire. He just seems like a guy who's hard to get along with, not personable, and I think in the New York market, especially with the superstars they brought in, that's going to be a little bit tough to deal with. Don't like it at all. If he's going to be part of the GM search, it's like someone looking to hire their future boss. I find that awkward.
Yeah, it's idiotic. Like the Adam Gase signing, it was questionable. I can't even talk because John's blowing up his mic. It was questionable from the beginning. He was average at best in Miami, and that's at the very best. And okay, yeah, he's like 35, but he proved nothing in Miami. He had maybe a 9-7 season to show for it, and then immediately turns around and gets hired for the Jets. I don't get it. And then to make things worse, they name him GM. And the reports were during the week, during the draft, he was being all weird about not being in team meetings. He wasn't included in some of the draft day preparations, and he was getting a little salty. So he just kind of seems like a weird dude. He looks like a weird dude when he doesn't have a hat. He just got a lot of things wrong with him. I thought the Giants were in a bad place. I think these New York teams are competing to see who can be the worst team that plays in MetLife. They want to try and just burn that place down.
It is tough, and I do wish the best for Daniel Jones, but that's a whole nother story. Rumors are that they're going to go for Peyton Manning for the Jets GM job. How do you feel about that, Chris?
I mean, I like that. Give him a shot. Anything's better than Adam Gase at this point, honestly. But
Gettleman?
Yeah, honestly, probably.
No.
But Manning, if we can't get him in the booth on Monday Night Football, I want to see him involved in football somewhere. I mean, he's just sitting at home on his couch, right? Who knows what he's doing. I was a big Peyton Manning fan back in the day. I loved him, respected the game.
Huge.
He always had great games with the Ravens, going back and forth back in the day. But I'd love to see him back in football. I think he would be great for the Jets. He grew up in a football family. Football's been his life. I think to be back in that GM role, to be back in football, I think that would be great for the Jets.
Yeah, and from the quarterback role, I think you know a lot more about other positions than if you were a wide receiver, offensive lineman. Yeah. You might not have as much exposure of what players should be doing down to the technique. But I think he kind of has that cerebral personality where he can see the whole picture. I think he's patient. I think he's analytical. I think he asks people for advice and wisdom around him. I could see Bill Polian being kind of a consultant unofficially for him, really help him out. And I think he has the networking to bring in a good team around him. So I would be a big fan of that move. Someone said that they should pay him $20 million a year, which sounds crazy for a GM. But if you think about a quarterback, a successful quarterback's making $20 million, and that's the direction of your franchise. Why not pay $20 million for a guy who is actually steering the entire ship of the franchise? I think for Peyton Manning, I think I'd take that chance, and I think he could do it. I definitely think he's smart enough for sure. Let's change paces a little bit. NBA playoffs. Yeah. It's been a good series for the Bucks and Raptors. It was a fun series to watch Steph Curry trounce Portland. Golden State in the finals. Yep. It's done. Bucks Raptors currently going on right now. Currently, as of right now, Bucks are up 2-1. We can go ahead and figure out if it's tied 2-2 at this point.
Over,
yeah, we can check it out right here.
John doesn't have the ESPN app. He's in Safari right now.
Toronto wins 2-2.
Wow.
It's 2-2.
Live. Breaking news.
Breaking news. It's 2-2. Do you think Kawhi can pull it off, or are you still going to stick to your horses?
I don't know. I was watching the game before you got here, before we started filming, and Kawhi, he looks hurt. I don't know if you've watched some of the series, but he kind of looks like he's limping around. They did pull it off today. He has a good supporting cast, Kyle Lowry, Danny Green. They got some players there. But I just think Giannis he's just too powerful. When they can hit threes, they're tough to beat. Giannis down low, them hitting threes. I think it's going to be tough. It's hard to win in Toronto. As we can see, they lost both games in Toronto. They got Drake on the sidelines. We love to talk about Drake on this show and his curse. But he's there, sidelines, yelling at Giannis, yelling at everybody. He's fun to watch. But I think when it's all said and done, Giannis is too good, and when the best player on the court, it's just getting the ball in and is dominant like he is. It's tough to beat.
Yeah. Concern for the Bucks. Very good defensively. Just let up 120 points tonight. That's got to be concerning.
Yeah.
That's got to be concerning. Definitely something to look at. I'm excited to see how this series plays out. I'm going to stick to our local co-host and expert, Scott Bolin. We'll ride the Bucks out, going back to Milwaukee.
Go Bucks, baby.
They got an advantage there. Last thing we want to talk about. There are some friendships that are born by heart, and there are some friendships that are forced together. The timing of that made it sound like we're forced together. Let's talk about a friendship that was forced together. Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson goes on to First Take this week and basically says, I only felt betrayed by Rob Pelinka. I thought I would have more power in decision making. Jeannie Buss let too many voices in, so I couldn't make a final decision. The Lakers aren't a well-organized team, essentially, was what he was saying, and that Rob was speaking behind his back, that he wasn't in the office enough, which, at the same time, he did admit that he wasn't in the office that much, so I don't know necessarily how much that got under skin if it's true.
Yeah.
But definitely a smearing of Magic Johnson towards the Lakers. And it was on the same day that they introduced their new head coach. I don't know if that's timing or what. How do you feel about this whole mess?
It was, well, first let me preface this. And when I first saw pictures of Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson when they were showing clips on ESPN, at first I thought it was Rob Lowe. I was like, why are they posting pictures of Rob Lowe and Magic Johnson? I was like, what is going on here? But Rob Pelinka is just like a Walmart like great value version of Rob Lowe, just not as good looking.
Yeah, poor man's
But he does
version.
look similar.
Yeah.
But Magic Johnson, talk about burning bridges. He's straight up
on fire.
he threw TNT and gasoline and lit a match onto that bridge, and that thing went up in flames. He absolutely roasted the Lakers. He destroyed Jeannie Buss. He absolutely called out Rob Pelinka. It was a mess. I think it's a bad look for everybody. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone looks good in this situation. Mm-hmm. Magic just looks like a tattletale, honestly. Mm-hmm. Just calling out guys left, right, saying he didn't do this, he's backstabbing this. And then Rob Pelinka, he makes it look like he's just out here talking about how Magic never showed up to anything. Where, I don't know if you watched the Magic interview on First Take the other day, but he said at the beginning to Jeannie Buss, he said, look, I want to be the president of the Lakers, but I have other businesses. I own the Dodgers. I'm affiliated with a lot of other things. I'm going to be out of the office a lot. I'm going to put as much as I can into the Lakers, but I'm not going to be here all the time. And I think that's unfair for Rob Pelinka and anyone else in the organization to criticize that when that's what they all knew coming in was going to happen. They all knew this was going to happen. And what makes it worse looking for Rob Pelinka is these guys are like 50 years old. Like, be man to man, talk to them. If you have a problem with somebody, talk to them. Don't go behind their back and go through the media, especially something like this.
Yeah.
Just be a man. Just talk to them face to face.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you're going to be able to figure it out, or else an absolute dumpster fire like this is going to happen.
Yeah, there's definitely people I look at in the eyes. Well, at least I look at their eyes. They don't know I'm looking at them in pictures and videos. And I go, I can't trust this guy. All right, a couple people that come to mind, all right? LeVar Ball's business partner, the first time I saw him, I said, this guy's in it for the money. I didn't know he was that bad, but he ends up running away with millions. Hopefully he gets caught and arrested. Didn't trust him. Next guy, you look at in the eye and you can't trust. Rob Pelinka, okay? This guy looks sketchy. This guy seems very shallow. One of his first interactions when LeBron was signed, it was this kind of forced, awkward marriage between LeBron, him, and Magic. Didn't like it at all. Don't like him gossiping behind the scenes. Go talk to him in person like you said. But at the same time, Magic stepping down without telling anyone and then just announcing it to the cameras was low, and then going on First Take and bashing like he did was low. Magic, this is his first time not being the loved player and legend, but actually being scorned for his decision making and scorned for his job, and I don't think he was ready to take that. I think he was kind of a token boy for the Lakers, a token man for surviving AIDS, and he had so much positive image around him that this challenged that, and I don't think he could handle that, and that's okay, but I think he could have handled a lot of things differently. I wish he worked out his contract a little bit more, or went to Jeannie and said, hey, I want final say, but it kind of seemed like he just kind of pointed fingers.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? At the beginning of last season, you thought the Lakers, all right, they got LeBron, they got the pieces, they're going to be contenders in the West. And now you look at it, it's like, are they even going to make the playoffs next year? It's just, they have no direction. You know, clearly there's something going on in the front office that you never want to see.
Yeah.
That the culture that they have there, they need to overhaul something, or else it's not. There's not going to be a good outcome for it. It's going to be only bad things that are going to come of it.
If you had to keep either Jeannie Buss or Rob Pelinka for the next 5 years, who you keep?
I definitely Jeannie. I mean,
you keep Jeannie.
I mean, from everything Magic has said and what it seemed like he knew about Rob before he came into the position. And he even said on First Take, he was like, look, I heard things about Rob, that he was doing this, talking about people doing that. But I was like, look, I've never met him. I'm going to give him a fresh start. I'm going to be open. And still, he ended up seeing what everyone else saw. So I think if it wasn't just Magic seeing it, then it's just a common theme.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely would keep Jeannie around and get rid of Rob. Lakers are a mess. I feel bad for that young core. It just seems like they don't know if they're going to be traded or not every day.
Yeah.
Definitely a disaster. Well, that's all we got for tonight. Episode 9 in the wraps. Chris with the staple finger point. Thanks for all the fan support, the comments, the love. Have a great night.
Hey, peace. Love you guys. See you next week.